So I've got 2 more clean eating recipes for you, so stick around. Hi, Debbie Chu here from Chew on Vegan, and welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm a plant-based RN and I follow a whole food, plant-based, no oil, gluten-free way of eating. On my channel, you're going to find quick and easy recipes. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video, which is every week. You can also follow me on Instagram for more plant-based content. And check out the links below so you can sign up for my newsletter, my e-guide, and I also have a Facebook group if you feel like you need a little bit more support. So if you've been watching my series on clean eating, then you know that I've been doing the Brooke Goldner green smoothie protocol to help with the inflammation in my knee for my arthritis. And just a quick little update is that my knee is feeling much better. I think it's really working. I have great energy. I don't really have any food cravings anymore. I don't feel like I'm bloated. I just feel really good. And I've also lost 2 pounds, and this is week 3. And I didn't do it to lose weight, but I know you guys are going to ask, so I have lost 2 pounds. And I'm going to continue this for another 3 weeks at least, but knowing me, I'm going to continue doing it for longer. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make that raw wrap that I made in the last video. If you didn't see that, then I will post that up here somewhere, the link to that video so you can watch that. But I'm going to show you how I made the wrap, and then I will show you how I fill it. I added a couple things to it from last time, and then I'll be showing you some cabbage steaks, which are really delicious, super easy to make, and I think you're going to enjoy it. So let's get started. You're going to need a high-speed blender, otherwise you're going to have to chop the vegetables up super fine. I've got 2 cups of cherry tomatoes, which is about a pint. So you just want to go ahead and throw that into your Vitamix or whatever your high-speed blender is. Then I also have about 4 cups of bell peppers. So what you want to do is just get 3 large yellow or red, whatever you want. I had 1 large yellow, and then I had a bunch of mini peppers, so I just cut those up, as you can see here. And then just go ahead and throw those peppers into the Vitamix. Now you want to throw in some spices, and I've got paprika, onion powder, and garlic powder, and a little bit of salt. And I will leave exact measurements down below. And then we're also going to use some psyllium husk powder, and this is what's going to help thicken up the wraps and just give it some extra fiber. So first we're going to blend up the tomatoes and the peppers and the spices first before we add in that psyllium husk. So you just want to blend it till it's nice and smooth. It's not going to take that long. The Vitamix does a pretty quick job. Now that it's nice and blended, we're going to add the psyllium husk in, and then we're going to blend it again. So just put that top back on and just blend it for another minute or so. Now this is the consistency you want. It's really thickened up beautifully. Now it's time to make our wraps. So I've got 2 lined baking trays here. They're not actually baking trays, they're from my dehydrator, so dehydrator trays. And then you're just going to split the batter in half, and you're going to put half on one, and try to do the best you can. Half on the other, and this is such an easy recipe, and you want to get all of it out. Get all that goodness out. Just like that. Now we're just going to spread them out, and I'm using an offset spatula, but you could use anything you want. A knife is fine. And you just want to make sure that it is spread fairly thin, but not too thin. And you also want to make sure that the outer edges are a little bit thicker than the rest of it, because it's going to dehydrate from the outside in. So if you have those edges a little bit thicker, it's going to really help. So now we have our wraps all spread out, and we're going to dehydrate these 118 degrees. We're going to do it on the first side for about 4 hours, and then you're going to flip them over and peel the paper off, and then you're going to dehydrate them for another, say, 4 to 5 hours, just till they don't look wet. So now these are ready to go in the dehydrator. I put them on the metal rack, and those are just going to go right inside the dehydrator. And now I'm going to show you how I put the wrap together. I have some that are already made, and show you how easy it is. So this is what they look like when they are all done, and you can see how nice and pliable they are. These work so great as a wrap. So I showed you this in my last video, but I'll show it again. I like to make a big salad. In here I've got about a head and a half of romaine hearts and some red cabbage. Then I'm going to just put in some onions, some carrots. I shredded everything up as small as possible. Some tomatoes. Look at all those colors. It's so beautiful. And then last time I didn't do this, but this time I put in a half of a shredded zucchini, and I had that left over, so I thought, why not? And then I like to put in some hemp seeds, and this is only about a tablespoon, but it gives you a little bit more fiber, a little bit of protein, but just a nice little flavor. And then I like to mix it up first and just kind of get everything incorporated, and then I will put the dressing on. And for my dressing today, I'll be using Dr. Goldner's Caesar dressing. It's so delicious. I love her dressings. This one I think is my favorite. And I just put a couple big spoonfuls, 2 or 3 maybe, and then we're just going to give it a really good toss. I find that when I toss my salads a lot, they seem to get nice and coated, and I like the way it kind of softens everything up, and it just makes it easier to eat. So I just toss and toss and toss till you think you shouldn't toss anymore. Keep tossing. So this is what the wrap looks like when it's all done. I like to add about 1.5 tablespoons of my oil-free hummus. It just kind of adds a little zip to it. And here I'm using my offset spatula again, and you just want to spread it out. You can add more hummus if you would like, but I'm just good with about 1.5 tablespoons just to kind of give it a little zip. Now we'll start filling our wrap. And I just put a generous portion of my salad onto the wrap, probably about almost halfway, and just really want to stuff it full. These wraps are really pliable and can handle a lot. Now we roll it up. It's super easy. Just start at one end and just roll it. You can tuck in the sides if you want. I usually don't, but that's also very fine to do. Now we're just going to cut it in half, and I'll show you how beautiful it is. And if you see that avocado over there, I decided not to put that on the wrap. But look at that. Look at those colors. This is so filling and satisfying. You're just going to really love it. So I hope this made it easy for you to learn how to make these wraps. Now on to these cabbage steaks. So I just took the outer edges off, the outer leaves off, and gave it a good little rinse. And you just want to make sure everything's clean. And I also like to cut off the bottom base there, just give it a little cut so it's nice and even. It just makes it a stable cutting surface. And you can cut it this way is fine, but I like to cut it this way. It's just personal preference, it's up to you. And then you want to just start slicing, maybe like 1/2 inch or so slices. And you're just going to put them on a lined baking sheet. I've got my Silpat there. You could use parchment paper, is fine. So just about this thick. I don't know, I think that's about 1/2 inch. I'm not good with that. And you just cut all the way through there. And yeah, about that thick, you can see. So I'm just going to continue cutting up my cabbage, and then I'm going to show you how I season it all up. I just season these very simply. First, I'm going to brush them with some veggie broth, and you just do that because you don't want them to totally dry out. It will also help the seasonings to stick. So you just want to give them a nice good coating of the veggie broth, as I am doing here. And we're going to do this to both sides. And we're going to, like I said, we're going to season them up super simply. We're going to do some garlic salt. And if you are salt free, then just use garlic powder. That's totally fine. And no measurements, just kind of eyeball it. You're just going to season it just like I'm doing here. No rhyme or reason. And then of course I'm going to use some onion powder. And if you've been following me for a while, you know these are the spices I pretty much use for everything, but you can change them up. If you want to use like a Mexican seasoning, that's fine, whatever you'd like. Then of course my smoked paprika, can't live without that. And that also helps to give it a nice little color too, makes it a nice golden when it comes out of the oven. So I'm just going to sprinkle that all around as I'm doing here. And lastly, I just put on some black pepper. That's optional, but I just think it gives it a little oomph, little pepper on there. You could use red chili flakes. Like I said, whatever spices you would like would be just fine. And then you just kind of pat them down, and then we're going to flip it over and season the same way on the other side. So I have both sides seasoned. Now it's going to go into a 400-degree preheated oven for about 45 minutes. We want it to get nice and golden, but you want it to be cooked through, you want it to be tender. So I will show you what it looks like when it's all done. So here they are, straight from the oven, and I'm just going to drizzle them with some of Dr. Goldner's Caesar dressing, and it just kind of gives it a little bit of zip. And you could use any kind of sauce you want. You could do sweet chili sauce, you could do salsa, you could do cheese sauce would be amazing on these. So whatever you like to do, you know, dealer's choice. And these are going to go with probably a side of rice, or you could do a potato. I'm going to be doing a mashed potato with these. That goes really great. So I'm going to plate this up and let's give it a taste. So here's the finished product. I paired it with some of my mashed potatoes. I will leave a link to that recipe video down below so you can check out my recipe for mashed potatoes. Super easy, of course. And I just drizzled a little bit of Dr. Goldner's Caesar dressing on there. You could put whatever you want on here, barbecue sauce, ketchup, whatever kind of dressing you want. You can do cheese sauce would be excellent on this. So just anything you'd like, just top it with that. So let's give this a taste. And this cooked for about 45 minutes, so it's got a nice little caramelization on there. It came out really, really nice. So give this a taste. It's so good. Very tasty. This is a perfect entree. You could serve it with mashed potatoes, you could have a side salad. I mean, it's gonna really be a crowd pleaser. And you just get such great fiber and nutrients from the green cabbage. So it's a win-win. It's good for you and it tastes good. You can't beat that. If you like this video, if you got value out of it, you learned something, please give it a like. Better yet, give it a like and share it with your friends so we can get the word out on these super easy recipes and how easy it is to go plant-based. And if you made it this far in the video, then comment below with cabbage, and that way I know you made it to the end with me, and I really appreciate it. You have no idea. It really helps my channel to grow when I have comments from you. Plus I love hearing from you. So keep up the good work, and I'll do my part as well. Now I usually put bloopers on the end of my videos. I don't know if I'm going to have any today, so I'll just, when I edit, I'll have to wait and see, and you'll just have to be surprised. Remember that all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate and your weight. Until next time, thank you. It's so good. Very tasty. So if you've made it this far in the video, Not yet. Okay, what am I gonna say?